Hello all, I'm Sai and in today's video, I'm bringing to you my unboxing of the books that I bought from the Unlimited Book Fair hosted by Used Books Factory in Chennai, Egmore. They are actually making the sale happen in different places across the country, and if I can find the dates for the future sales, I'll be linking all of them in the description so that you can go forward and check out their website. I'll also leave the link for their Instagram in the description so that you can check out their profile too. I already posted a mini vlog as a short from the day in which I went for the sale. That will also be linked either in the iCards or in the description. You can check it out if you are interested. And on the day I'm posting this video, I've also posted another full-length vlog of the sale. Even though that video is short, you can get an idea of what kind of books you can expect from the sale. And in this video, I'll be showing all the books that I bought, the actual price of these books as on Amazon, and the conditions of the books. Now the total cost of all of these 18 books that I've purchased inside this box adds up to 17,681 rupees as per their MRP on Amazon, and I bought all of them together for just 1799 rupees. So without any further ado, let's get into the box and I'll show you all the books. Now this is how the box looks from outside. This is the medium sized box which costs 1799 rupees. There's a smaller box which costs 1199 rupees and a bigger box which costs 2999 rupees. I went with the idea of buying the 1199 box only, but it was very small. The sale is very similar to Lock the Box from Bookshore, but it does not have that great a value as Lock the Box does. I'm not meaning to say that this is bad in any way in that way. I'm just trying to say that the collection is not as big as that of Bookshore. The box is also a little bit smaller than that of Bookshore, so that is kind of a little problem, but for the books that I bought, I think this box is super valuable. Now I'll show you all the books. Now the first book that I bought is a brand new copy. I'm really sure that this is a brand new copy because it even has the cling film on it, and the book is Ajaya by Anand Neelakantan, which is the first book inside his Mahabharata retelling series. And in this book, we basically see the Mahabharata from the point of view of the Kauravas. Now, I've read only like one or two Anand Neelakantan books so far, but I've liked his writing style and the way in which he writes his characters really well. I've also bought another book by him in my book haul video, so do look out for it. Now, the naming reason of this book is the thing which drove me into it, okay? It's basically just the opposite of Jaya. Now, Jaya is the other name for Mahabharata, and it is given Jaya because it is based on the success story of the Pandavas. But Ajaya means it's the opposite of Jaya. It is the story of the people who lost the war and telling the story from their own point of view. I'm really sure that this book will be amazing because I have super confidence on Anand Neelakantan's writing, and it's a brand new copy as you can see. Even the cover is not unwrapped. Just in order to show to you guys, I did not take off the cover. The condition of the book is just perfect, and the MRP of this one on Amazon is 299 rupees. The next one is a YA contemporary novel, and it is also the sequel to another YA contemporary novel, which is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. It is definitely a wonderful book. I listened to it as an audiobook. When I found the sequel for that one in the sale, I just went forward and grabbed a copy because it's kind of special too, and it also looks like a brand new copy even though it has a sticker on it. The book is Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World by Benjamin Ali Sayans, if I'm not pronouncing the author's name wrong. Now I'm going to re-listen to the audiobook of the first book and then dive into this one because I want to recollect the story before diving into this one. It is quite big and you can see that it has blue sprayed edges too. It is very difficult to find books like this one in used book sales like this. So when I found a copy which just looked this gorgeous, I was not going to let my chance go and I just grabbed it. It just has a small sticker on it here. But apart from it, I don't see anything as even a small sign of a used copy in this one. You can see the sprayed edges, right? They are blue and just so beautiful. And I don't think I have a paperback book that has sprayed edges on my shelf, so this will be the first one in my collection to be so. And the MRP for this one is 489 rupees. The next one, if I'm not wrong, is a new adult murder mystery book and it's also very small or short. And it is also a super popular book again. Now this one also looks like a brand new copy without any small sign of being a used copy, and it is Beware Liars by E. Lockhart. I've heard a lot of great things about this book. I don't know anything much about this except for the fact that it has people from a single family involved in the story, but I've heard only really good things about it. You can see that the book is super new, right? There are no dents or marks or anything on the book as such. The edges are also really white and it does not have any stickers or any other markings. I'm definitely going to try this pretty soon since it is very short. And the MRP for this one is 399 rupees. The next one is yet another murder mystery, and I think this is part of a series, and unknowingly I bought the second or third book in it. And I know that there are other books in the series also because I looked up the price on Amazon and it are like 4 books inside the series. I'm just not sure if this is the first book or not. And the book is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I've heard really good things about this one also, all over BookTube, both from Indian booktubers as well as international booktubers. So I'm really excited to read this one. I'm not that much of a mystery or thriller reader, but I have a few books which I want to read and try in 2024, and this is definitely one of them. It is a used copy for sure, but you can see it is really good in quality. The edges of the book are really white and it does not have any dents or sticker marks again. I don't know much about the story, but I definitely want to dive into it because it just feels like a cozy mystery to me, and it also has really good font. I like the font that they've used inside the book, and also the spacing is really good. The spine has like a crack going on, so that's a small issue for me. Other than that, I don't see anything bad about this book. And the MRP for this one is 550 rupees. The next one is a YA murder mystery again, and the book is also super popular. If I'm not wrong, it has some kind of animal torture that is included inside the book, so that's kind of triggering a little bit for me. But I want to try the story because I've heard really great things about this, and it has a pretty long title, which is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. In this book, we follow our protagonist who's 15 years old, and he finds his neighbor's dog being dead in the pavement one day. Now, he's very intellectual, but he's not able to understand human beings that much. So his social quotient is a bit low and he does not have that much EQ too. But based on the death of this dog, he's trying to write this murder mystery novel. And when he's trying to investigate the case of the dog's death, he also starts uncovering certain truths that is about his neighborhood. Now, while writing the murder mystery of the dog, will he also uncover the other mysteries that are going on around his surroundings and try to understand the people in his life better is the actual plot of this book. Again, this is pretty short, so I think I'll be able to read this faster. I'm not sure whether this is middle grade or YA because it sounds a little bit like middle grade to me, but the image of a dead dog on the cover just doesn't feel appropriate for a book for children. So I hope it is either young adult or preferably adult. And the MRP for this book is 399 rupees. The next one is a historical fiction book and is also the sequel to one of the best historical fiction books that I've read so far. I read it this year only in August as the first book for my book club. And the book that I got in the sale is Silka's Journey by Heather Morris, which is the third book or companion to The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which I read in August. I have the third book for this series or this companion set of novels, which is Three Sisters, already with me. I did not read it because they are published in the order of Tattooist of Auschwitz, Silka's Journey, and then Three Sisters. So I just waited to grab my copy of this one, read this, and then go to Three Sisters because this is the story of Silka, who's one of the most important characters inside the Tattooist of Auschwitz. The things that Silka goes through in that novel are just super horrible, and the way in which she does all those things in order to protect other people like her, despite the amount of abuse that she's put through, is just heartbreaking in multiple levels. I can see that this book is bigger than Tattooist of Auschwitz, so I think it will be much more triggering than that book. Even though that book is super strong and has a very tight place in my heart, I don't think I'd be able to reread that book very easily because it is very emotionally high for me as a person. And I think this book will be just as, strongly emotional and vibrant as that book. I just hope I don't feel low after reading this because I know what all stuff Silka went through in that first book, and I don't think it's going to get any better here. But if it does get better, I'll be super happy for her. We'll just have to wait and see. If you've read the book, please don't spoil it for me because I want to experience this in the most pristine way possible. And the MRP for this one is 399 rupees again. The next book is a super highly triggering book. I have not read this, but I know that it is super highly triggering because I wanted to read this book this year, but I went forward and watched reviews and suggestions of this book. Everyone kept on saying that we have to read this book only when we are in a very good space mentally. And if we are feeling low in any way, this is not even one book we should go towards in any way at all. And I think most people might have guessed what the book is. It is A Little Life by Tanya Yana Nihara. The latest book of the author also published last year or this year if I am not wrong, and I wanted to read this before getting to that book. I know that this is about a group of 4 friends and their life story as a whole, and there are a lot of triggering things that are happening inside this book. And I've also heard that the author says that they are not someone who believes in trigger warnings, which is kind of inconsiderate if you ask me. I want to read this book though, it is very huge, and I know that if it is such an emotionally taxing book, I'll have to read this in one go, otherwise I'll not be able to finish it in one go and then just extend the torture for myself. I'm not going to read it anytime soon, I'm sure about that. I'll give myself at least 1 or 2 moments in order to pick this book up because I want to get in that perfect mind space in order to read a hard story. Now the MRP of this one is 699 rupees, but I've seen the price of this one around 300 to 400 rupees most times on Amazon, but the MRP is 699. I think it is worth for this book because you can see it is huge and it's clearly a used copy. It is not that great in condition. The spine is definitely broken. Since the book is huge, I'm sure anyone who handled it must have opened the book as much as they can. The one plus point is that I can shamelessly go forward and open the book completely because I need not worry about breaking the spine because it already is. And then that it's definitely a decent copy. And instead of buying a fresh copy of this one, if it ends up damaging me emotionally, I think this is a better option for me. The next one is a thriller or a murder mystery again, and it is an adult book for as much I can understand from the blurb of the book, and it is also by a very popular author nowadays, and the book is The Girls by Lisa Jewell. I have another book by this author, which is The Family Upstairs, on my shelf already, but I've not gotten to it yet because I wanted to read some other books before that one. So I'm going to read that book first and then go on to this one, because I've heard better things about this book and I've not heard that much about this one at all. But when I saw the name of the author, I just wanted to grab this copy because I want to experiment a little bit more in thrillers in the upcoming year, because I have not been reading that many thrillers lately. Even though I used to enjoy thrillers back in the time, I want to get myself back in the genre because I know it will make me thinking and analyzing the stuff that I'm reading. And I do like books that make me do that. So I'm definitely going to try this. And in this book, if I'm not wrong, a girl is found unconscious in this garden area and something has been done to her. Who did it and who are all responsible for the thing that she has experienced is the actual plot. It's very vague in terms of the description in the back cover. So I think I need to read it in order to understand what all is going on here. Now the price of this one on Amazon was mentioned as 899 rupees and the offer price was just 250 rupees. So I had to take it with a grain of salt. Since I've taken the MRP for all the other books, I'm considering this to be 899 rupees because I've not heard that much about it. So if you read this book, please do let me know down in the comments whether it is as good as other books are being talked about. The next one is an adult contemporary book, and I'm pretty sure that I will love this one because the blurb of this one sounds super interesting and I have really high hopes on this author. The book is I've Got Your Number by Sophie Kinsella, which is one of her standalone romance books. And in this book, we follow our main character, Poppy, who loses her engagement ring on the day when she's about to meet her fiance's parents. And she's not able to find that engagement ring. When she's discussing this with her friends, she gets drunk and ends up losing her phone. And after losing her phone, all her contacts are lost, obviously. And during that exact time, she ends up finding another phone in the dustbin. She thinks that the universe has sent that phone into her life just in order to compensate for the loss of her own phone, and she takes that phone. But it ends up being the phone of a very popular businessman who's very successful. She thinks that she can keep the phone, but he insists that he wants his phone back, and he does not appreciate the fact that she has read through all his messages and all his personal stuff so far. It sounds super funny and quirky and very Sophie Kinsella-like. I know she addresses really hard issues in a very mellow way, but without making them sound trivial in any way. So I'm definitely interested to pick this up, and it's also kind of a big paperback, so it'll be even more easy for me to read. And the MRP for this one is 893 rupees. The next one is a YA contemporary book that I've been meaning to read for a few years now. I got this as a recommendation from one of Murphy Napier's videos, and the book that she compared this one to is Sophie Kinsella's Finding Audrey, which is easily one book that I highly relate to. That was my first Sophie Kinsella book and it was really good to read. And seeing this book being compared to it made me want to read it back then itself. It's been at least 3 to 4 years since I read that book, and I've been meaning to read this ever since I read it. I did not buy it because it was very expensive on Amazon, and the book is A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Barnard. I'm just going to read the blurb of the book for you guys so that I don't mess up anything about the story. It is very short, as you can see here. Steffi doesn't talk, Riz can't hear. They understand each other perfectly. Love isn't always a lightning strike. Sometimes it's the rumbling roll of thunder. That sounds very beautiful, and I hope this will be a very heartwarming story too. And also see the cover of this book, it is really gorgeous. It has this pink background on which it has a golden foiling kind of thing that is showing concentric heart shapes. It just looks so beautiful. The MRP of this one is 407 rupees. The next one is the second book inside a grim-dark adult fantasy trilogy. I don't have the first and third books inside the series. The book is Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie, which is the second book inside the first Law trilogy. I've been wanting to read the series ever since 2020. I started listening to the audiobooks, but I was not able to follow on with the story because this series is more character focused and character driven compared to anything else. I'm a hugely character driven reader, and that's the main reason why I want to read this series. And ironically, the second book inside the series is the most expensive of all the 3 books on Amazon. And that's one of the reasons why I have not bought the series so far. Since I have the most expensive of all the 3 books now with me, I go forward and buy the first and third books inside the series also so that it is complete. And I can read it in 2024. It is a brand new copy, you can just see it here. It has this grey cover and has some kind of silver foiling here and there. It just looks super gorgeous. My phone does not make enough justice for this book's cover, but it just looks really pretty. And it also has this kind of rough matte finish which gives it a really crinkly sound. Just hear it. I'm showing it near my mic. You can hear it, right? I'll be cleansing the audio, so if I missed it sound, I'm sorry for it. But this is a brand new copy and its MRP is 699 rupees. Again, we have yet another brand new copy of a self-help book. It is actually a personal finance book that I read last year, and it is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. I read it last year and I want to read it sometime in the future too. My brother has also read this book and he said that he wanted to gift it to someone. So when we found a free copy, I just wanted to put it inside the box because this costs around 300-400 rupees on Amazon and I don't want to go forward and buy the book where it is available for such a great deal in the sale. So I just went forward and grabbed the copy. The MRP of this one is 599 rupees. This next book is probably the most expensive of all the books inside this box and it's also the only hardcover. I have one coffee table book but I am not going to consider that as hardcover even though it is one. And this book is Abhorsen by Garthnix, which is the last and final book inside the Abhorsen trilogy by the author. I have the first 2 books with me and I bought them during the Lock the Box sale. I could not find third book inside the series during that sale and finally I got it during this sale. So when I found a hardcover copy, I was not going to miss it. I just went forward and grabbed it. And just in order to accommodate this book, I had to rearrange all the books inside the box, but it is totally worth it. You can see, right, it is a red cover and it just looks super stunning. It is clearly a used copy, but it is in great condition. It does not have any dents. The dust jacket alone has some scratches here and there, but that's totally fine. And I was shocked to see the MRP of this one on Amazon because it is insanely high. And I'm super sure that I would not buy the hardcover copy from Amazon at that price no matter how much money I have because I don't think I will spend that much money on a single book. And the MRP of this one on Amazon, wait for it, is 8,044 rupees and on deal it is 4,022 rupees, but I was able to fit it inside the 1,799 rupees box. The next book is also something by a super popular author and I know each and every book inside the series is very expensive on Amazon. That's the only reason why I have not read it so far. And when I found even just the second book inside the trilogy, I just wanted to grab it because I know this is a steal deal for me. And it is Firefight by Brandon Sanderson, which is the second book inside the Reckoners trilogy, which is this YA dystopian series. I don't have the first and third books again with me, but I can find the audiobooks of those on Tokyo Books or GalaxyBooks.com and listen to them as audiobooks and read the second book physically. I'm totally okay with it. I wanted to buy this because after seeing a Brandon Sanderson book inside a sale like this one, if I don't buy it, my mind will not agree with me. My conscience will just kill me, so I just went forward and grabbed it. Again, it is a big paper bag and it is floppy. It is clearly a used one. You can see some marks on the edges of the page and the cover is a bit dull. But apart from that, this book is really good in its condition. And the MRP of this one is 525 rupees. Next we have a romance book by a super popular romance author and I also like this author's books very much because she writes them really well. Book is Thanks for the Memories by Cecilia Ahern. Again, it is a huge paperback and that's the special thing about this book which has holes. You can see, right? It has 2 holes here on the cover and both of those holes actually show the characters who are inside a heart on the front page of the book. So that just looks really good. And the entire cover design of this book itself seems very cozy and cute. I'm just going to read the blurb from the back cover so that I don't mess it up again. It sounds very interesting, so here it goes. How can you know someone you've never met? Joyce Conway remembers things she shouldn't. She knows about tiny cobbled streets in Paris which she has never visited. And every night she dreams about an unknown little girl with blonde hair. Justin Hitchcock is divorced, lonely and restless. He arrives in Dublin to give a lecture on art and meets an attractive doctor who persuades him to donate blood. It's the first thing to come straight from his heart in a long time. When Joyce leaves hospital after a terrible accident with her life and her marriage in pieces, she moves back in with her elderly father. On the while, a strong sense of deja vu is overwhelming her and she can't figure out why. Now, if you watch the summer movie Kushi from the early 2000s, you can see how this book sounds like. It's not the latest Kushi that has Samantha in it. It's the old Kushi which has Vijay and Jyotika, and is one of the cult films from my childhood. Even now, if that movie is played on the TV, I'll sit down and watch because it is really good. I get the same kind of vibes, but in a cozy way from this one. So let's just wait and see how it is going to go. And I know I can trust Cecilia Ahern because her books will be good. And the MRP for this one is 450 rupees. Next we have a book from a very popular middle grade series, and this is actually the 7th book inside the 13 book long series, which is a series of unfortunate events. This is the 7th book inside the series called The Wild Village. I have not read even one of the books from the series of unfortunate events, but I want to because this tiny little hardcover is really durable and it looks really pretty too. I want to read the series because I know it is very popular out there and many people have read it during their childhood. I'm personally not a person who has read that many middle grade books because they don't resonate with me that much for some reason. I read only Harry Potter and Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson also only after a lot of speculation, and finally I ended up liking it. So I think I might end up liking the series also. Let's just wait and see. But I have the 7th book inside the series with me, so at least for that reason I should go forward and start the series. It looks really good and this boy on the cover looks like Harry Potter for some reason. And the MRP for this one is 470 rupees. The next 2 are actually filler books. I just bought them because I had a little bit tiny space inside my box and I had to fill them with some books. I usually do this with all the used book sales that I go to, and of these the first book is a Roald Dahl book, which is The Great Plot, illustrated by Quentin Blake again. He is the usual illustrator for most of Roald Dahl's books. Then we have this very small thing like a booklet called The Young Samurai, The Way of the Samurai. I think it is something related to movie. Not heard about it, but it looked cool, so I just put it inside the box. And I was not able to find a copy of this on Amazon, so I don't know its price. And at last, I want to show this very special book to you guys, okay? I think it's a coffee table book, but I'm not sure. But once you see the cover of this book itself, your heart will melt, because it did melt mine. And it's quite a huge book, okay? It's not thick, but it's very huge in terms of the size. And I knew that if I buy this book, I'll not be able to accommodate 1 or 2 more books which I could actually buy. But I went forward and bought it because I want this on myself, okay? And I'm sure many people will also want a copy of this. I'm sorry, but I could not find it on Amazon, so I don't know its price too. It is Newborn Puppies, Dogs in Their First 3 Weeks by Trayer Scott. You can see here, right? It has puppy dogs on the cover. It has puppy dogs on the back. And the entire book is basically about puppy dogs in their first 3 weeks from birth. I'll just show you 1 or 2 pages of the dogs inside the book. And guys, it'll just melt your heart, okay? I'm a huge dog person. We are not allowed to have pets in our building. That's why I don't have a dog. But I'm sure, okay, once I get a house of my own, I'm going to have at least 1 or 2 dogs for sure. And one of them will be named Magnus Bane. Just see these images. See that little paw. I think I'll just die, guys. It doesn't just have the images of the puppies, but it also tells us something about them. So yeah, that's the last book inside the box. So yes guys, those are all the books inside my box, and that's how I got 14,681 rupees worth of 18 books for just 1799 rupees in this amazing book sale. So if you are going to have the sale anywhere near you, I'd highly suggest you to go forward and give it a try, because I like their collection very much. And if you're a person who's into a lot of Indian books in specific, romance books, thriller books, and like very niche non-fiction books, I think you need to go forward and visit the sale, because they had a ton of collections, especially in that genre. As I said before, I have already done a vlog for this one, a mini vlog as well as a full-length vlog, both of which are linked in the iCards as well as in the description, and both of them will be available by the time this video is out. So please find the links either in the cards or in the description, and do go forward and watch those videos in order to get a more solid idea of how the sale is and whether it will be suitable for you or not. And if you did find this video useful and enjoyable in some way or the other, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. And if you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.